Today, I bring you very special greetings on this 25th day of November 2022 in our program, our Amba History. Before we go ahead, I want to take this time to actually congratulate and thank the people of Ambazonia, especially those of you on home front, and especially those of you in the diaspora who have understood and are understanding what the interim government and our plans to go to Boya are all about. But before we go, I always have this friend, whenever he sees me come into the studios, he will want to sing. And you say, but our Amba historian, why is it that he's always singing one song? Until a people understand, that's what my teacher taught me, that until you understand a particular lesson, that lesson will not be taken out of the curriculum. And that's why when you are in primary school, in those days, they call it Infants 1 in Ambazonia, it was Southern Cameroon, British Cameroon at that time. If you don't do well, you will not be promoted to the other class. You have to stay back and really understand the lesson and be able to reproduce the lesson in your own words before you are promoted to the next class. But when these thieves came, it became another thing. But let's get back to our story. Brother, I welcome you. Give us that song, and I pray people of Ambazonia should listen attentively. Please invite your friends, invite other Ambazonians, so we can begin to build up the nation we are going to meet tomorrow. God bless. Let's listen.
I give you glory, Abba Father. You know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the feel. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the feel. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. Abba Father,
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you for that reminder. Want to tell the Ambazonian people there is somebody who created you and he knows your name. He knows your name. But the question is, do you know him? Because he knows your name and definitely he wants you to know him. Well, as we go ahead in what we have to share today, I want to come right down on earth and make us to understand that this land of Ambazonia is not negotiable. I told you that 1966 there was a sacrifice carried out by La République du Cameroon to keep people under bondage. And this sacrifice that La République carried out had a lifespan of 10 years. And this lifespan of 10 years actually expired in 2016. And that's why when the people rose up, they were unable to quell them and stop them as they were doing before. Please listen and listen attentively, because if you don't know your history, definitely you will not be able to know why we are doing what we are doing, and you will not be able to live up to expectation. So Ambazonians, get ready. We are going home. Yes, we are going home. It's not that maybe we will go home. I mean that we are going home. Okay? As a historian, before I go ahead, I want to let you know that he reigns. He reigns in Ambazonia. I know I've come up a little bit earlier than the normal 5 p.m. that I come up, but I did this on purpose today, Friday, so that if you come in late, you can go back and make a replay either on Facebook or on YouTube. So, but then let me get this brother to tell us why our Amba history and why I'm telling you that you should get ready, because already he reigns. And who is this he who is reigning? Remember, Jesus is reigning in Amba. And Jesus reigns through people. And that's why we are saying that Ambazonians are free, because they have embraced him. And he is the person that is leading. And he says in his word, which he has exalted more than all his name, that when you pray, believe that you have received what you have prayed for, and begin to rejoice because it is yours. And when you are rejoicing because it's yours, the enemy will be confused. That's why La République cannot, the center cannot hold for them, because they have touched the wrong people and they have touched the wrong thing that is not belonging to them. Okay, brother, let's hear how he reigns. Let's go.
This time, now Jesus the reign.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother. No, Reverend. Sometimes I make mistake, and I call. I used to call some other names that people may not like. But I respect you. I know you are a servant of God, and I definitely understand. Such music is not ordinary. I'm sure it has been inspired, yes, to let the people of Amazonia know that he reigns. And when he reigns in the midst of war, that's why his word says that when you pass through the waters, they will not suffer, they will not swallow you. In fact, if you get into the lion's den, the lions will not eat you up, especially when you are standing on what he has given to you. But when you come to grab some other person's property, it may be with you for 99 years, but the last 1 year, which is the owner's own, all that you have done, you will lose it. Yes, you will lose it. And so want to thank you very much for that piece of music. We are still encouraging Ambazonians to invite other people, send the link to them. We have both the link for uh, what do you call it? The link for Facebook. I will have the link for YouTube. Yeah, you can get into that. Now, I was expecting a guest in the house today to speak to us, but I have not been able to hear from him, most probably because of other commitments, which are also very important for our cause. But I want to say here today that I will take you a little bit back, and I will add a lot of spirituality to our Amba history, because this history has been led and ruled by what had been said when it was acting like current events. I'll take you back to 1998. In 1998, we had a group of people, in fact, they were prophets, Isa El-Buba and Kudi. What is the other man? Isa El-Buba and Prophet Kudi. I've forgotten his name, but I was there. I was there. Not that somebody told me. I was right there when these gentlemen came. They came from Nigeria, and they told the people of Ambazonia, because I remember very vividly and very clear, the meeting was held in the Congress Hall in Bamenda, and these two prophets from Nigeria, they started warning the Ambazonian people of the impending doom. At that time, our eyes were all well blocked and were sold under the hypnotism and the hypocrisy of La République du Cameroon, patting us on the shoulder while eating us from our left heart and blowing. We didn't know that these people had meant business. And even our very elect and learned elites could not deduce or could not comprehend what was going on. There was a lot of scufflings coming out, and when this crisis and fighting comes out, these people will just come with their terrorist scout boys, imbeciles, and untrained criminals. They will just beat up and maim and kill anybody that they can kill. Little did we know that that was the brutality with which Satan operates. And we were all in Ambazonia struggling to educate them, moralize them, help them become human beings. But we didn't know that our trial and thinking that they will change was instead provoking Satan to plan so much massacre against the people of Ambazonia. Let's come back home. These two prophets told the church to pray because there is an impending doom hanging over, they call it Cameroon. Little did we know that it was going to be the Ambazonian people, because they understand God. And my question is, why did these prophets not go to Yaoundé, the capital, go to Douala, the economic stronghold, but came to Bamenda? It is today that this prophecy is turning into history that I can now understand very clearly. In that particular meeting, which was called Faith Revival Meeting, organized every year by a seasoned servant of God, may his soul rest in peace, and inviting people from all around the world. I remember at that time, I was a missionary in Brazil. And so I came home with some Brazilian preachers who also did contribute their quota to build the Ambazonian people to get ready. Now, when they were gone, I don't think things became serious, because when you are too used to a prophet or to a man of God or to the word of God, sometimes you become very religious. So when they were gone, prayer started, but not in this momentum in which we have them today. They relax. And gradually, the goal and the game was unfolding. La Republic's missionary was at work grinding and grinding faster and faster than it was before, they changed things. At this time around 1998, when these prophets were gone, the Church of Jesus Christ in Ambazonia actually started prayers, and there were a lot of infiltrators that made it in such a way that the church could not continue in the prayers that they were praying. A lot of relaxation, a lot of counterfeit Christians that brought a lot of headache to the church and brought in a lot of immorality and almost drove God out of the church. And that's why today, when you look at the church, they have almost become religious, very, very religious. They are not more as separated as they were supposed to be. Fast forward, at this particular time in 1998, the covenant and agreement of La République du Cameroon to put people under subjection and subjugation was still working. It remained 18 years for the expiration of that demonic, satanic agreement that was binding the people of Ambazonia together. Because this covenant, I told you, was made in 1966 when a white horse was buried in the palace in Yaoundé in order to make everybody to be subjected and submissive to every brutal and careless rule of anybody that was in that land. So the Republic tried to approximate us to become, assimilate us to become Cameroonians so that that covenant should work on us. And some of our elites who had no spiritual eyes, and some of our elites who were spiritually blind when things were not revealed to them, we all accepted the tyrannic rule of La République du Cameroon, from Amadou Ahidjo to Paul Biya, all orchestrated by France. Little did we know. And as the things began unfolding, we went through a number of things. A number of people shed their blood in order that we can be free. A lot of our economic baroons were taken out of the way. Either they were deprived of their sources of financing, like a man like Nanga. La Republique made sure that they crippled him and the company died. Why was it so? Their plan was to bring us into real bondage and become real slaves and live under this bondage crime. There was nobody to deliver us. While their agreement to put us under hypnotism and other fraternal society was still going on. Many of our elites that study abroad, I know my former landlord in Bamenda, I wouldn't call his name. He studied in England and did a real agriculture. When he came back, he went to Yaoundé to be promoted as a delegate. They asked him to sleep with a dog or to commit homosexuality. At that time, he refused. He said no. And up till today, he has never been made a delegate. His subjects, that is those who were under him, became his bosses because they carry out that demonic act. This particular man is a child of God, was a child of God at that time, and I believe he is still a child of God. What am I saying? They try to demonize every Ambazonian to join their occultic group of a singer in Yaoundé. And when they discovered that it wasn't working, they used other methods. Repressal, torture, oppression, and our people bowed. Unfortunately for them, it was not the politicians that got up and fought them, because if there was a powerful politician who became a politician, it was the gang of SDF. When they came up, their leader stood out to be very vocal, and we thought that he was taking us out of the hands of La République du Cameroon, or making the country really, really federated as it was meant to be. But at this time, it was called United. And we felt that we were part of a country that was united. Meanwhile, that name was just brought in to scrape us of everything that we had and made us slaves. And it was proven. Anyway, fast forward. 2016, teach us that their power lies in the chalk and the blackboard. Lawyers that are very few suit up and join with the teachers. I said, we're going to fight with our brains. They call on La République du Cameroon from all angles. After Munzu and the rest had written petitions as the civil society, threatening and talking to La République that they are going to take a new turn. Unfortunately, the story is different today. I'm talking about our Amba history. And when all this went on, God's time was coming, because nobody's eyes was opened at that time to see what we are seeing today. And when the time of God came, 2016, he used the people who were less regarded as the people that were going to be the real people to bring us to where we are today. And when these people stepped in, the Ambazonian people called the teachers and the lawyers, a lot of things went on. And when these things went on, we saw the Ambazonian people absolutely and actually standing up. And La République did everything that they could do to get us back to their wicked plans and tricks. And it did not work. And they came up with where we are today. Because when they could not use the method they were using to quell us in the 1990s and the early 2020s, they discovered that the power was gone. And some of our own did bring out a lot of prophecies. Like I just told you, it was Monzu who read in the AAC 2 or 3 in Bamenda that sent a memorandum to Yaoundé that if these things are not considered, we will take a new turn. And this is the new turn. But where is him? It was Wilbur who prophesied and told them that where injustice is the order of the day, resistance is meant to be the counterpart. And today, we see the injustice and we see the resistance going on and going on. Now, La Repubblica is doing everything to make sure that there is a compromise so that the resistance of their injustice should stand out, but they don't want it to stand out. So what are they doing? Instead of coming to the table to sit down and iron out this thing directly, they are passing through the window of rejecting everything that is through the door, like the Swiss stock, the Swiss stock they have rejected, like the how do I call it now? the veil, they have covered the elite of Ambazonia, that they cannot reason, they cannot think back to what they said and where they were standing, because they have been initiated, given to demons and evil spirits, and their heads are blocked from when they were really fighting for the people and for their own people. They are now planning to make a settlement through the window, of which the interim government and the good people of Ambazonia, who understand our history, especially those at home who are still feeling and carrying and bearing the brunt of all that La Republic is doing, they are saying never again. That if it is possible that all of them will die and have our children's children come up and live a free life, they will do it. But then they are saying that they will not die. They will carry it out. And that's why every plan of those who have been deceived to be talking contrary and planning contrary to what we actually want Ambazonia to be, the plan is still not working. It doesn't matter how much money they have promised them. I overhear some people saying that they have started tarring a road in Meme. That's a lie. I have called Meme, called people who are on that very road every day. There is not a single paint of tar that they have put in that road. That's something they are doing elsewhere. They carry the picture, put it in the internet, and then spread it around to deceive people the more. Even those who are in Meme, I'm sure they are believing that the military, the B, is tarring the road. But it's not true. If you can prove me wrong, go there and come back and call here. I will make an apology. Because I'm telling you that I've called people who are applying that road every day, and they have told me that there is not a single tar anywhere. Even the broad road you see in the pictures shown is not there. They are not making a road so broad like that. It's a lie. That is the game plan of La République du Cameroon. And they lie every day. You don't need me to come and preach to you here about the lies of La République. Every one of you know. And so when they promise you to give you something, just forget it. Because when you have been used and you can deliver, and it comes to a point where you can no longer deliver, you are taken out of the game. It is being seen and being illustrated wherever France passes. I told you we are in the 21st century where nothing can be hidden no more. You can just go out, call somebody in Mali if you can, and they will tell you that what you see on social media is real. Guinea-Conakry, it happened when we did not have this technology that we have today. But they closed up the sewage and destroyed the toilets and took away every cable. I mean, what they did in that country and what they did not do, they took it away. They destroyed it. That is the method of their operation. And I told Ambazonians, and I'm still telling Ambazonians, when France, of course, La République, that is the eye of France in their country and trying to encroach into Ambazonia, as they have discovered that Ambazonians have gone, that is why they have carried out the same policy of France where they do in any country where they have been rejected. And that's why they have been burning our homes and burning our people, burning our properties, schools and churches, burning them inside and pretending to turn around to say that it is done by the Amba boys or the ARFs, which is a lie. We know that they have PhD in lies telling. In fact, they are a fellow of lies telling, if you want to categorize them. Yes, and they tell lies in the daytime. Some people try to tell lies in the dark, but these fellows tell lies right in the daytime. Something that you can verify, investigate, they will tell a lie on it. And because they are shame-proof, because Satan dies but never surrenders. And Satan is not ashamed when he is defeated until his end shall finally come. What am I telling Ambazonians today? I'm telling Ambazonians that our plight came from some of the people that were not very versed with what we are versed with today to stand out and say no to La République du Cameroon. And because they could not say no outrightly, they find themselves in this particular, we find ourselves in this particular mess. Now, I want to tell Ambazonians again, and I have been repeating this and repeating this and repeating this. But let me add a little salt to what I've been telling you. You remember I've been telling you that the United Nations in Resolution 1349 in 1960, they saw the people voting a yes for La République du Cameroon to have their independence. There were only 54 countries that voted yes. 54 countries in the Resolution 1349. Go and find out. And France quickly rushed ahead, thinking that they were the tortoise of the day, deceived La République in 1959, signed so many agreements with them that up to today, their children's children will suffer if in this present generation, those accords are not broken. And I heard that the Mali president now, when he took over power, he dismissed 8 of them and told France that this is where we are standing. Because Europeans will tell you that we have given you power, but they will go behind and begin to pull strings. If you don't dance according to their strings, they either kill you, because that's what they are good at. Remember, I told you that they are very good servants of the devil, and the devil came not to do anything good, but to kill, to destroy, and to steal. As long as France is not stealing from you, as long as they have not put their puppet to work for their behalf, they will either plan and kill you by slow poison or by coup d'etat and play games and blindfold everybody. Since they are using those demonic powers, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia has decided to go also to use a power that has power over all their demonic powers. And that power is the power of God. Let me take you back. In Resolution 1608 of 1961, for the people of the British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, West Cameroon at that time, to have their independence, we saw 93 countries voting, and we had 64 yes for our independence, which effectively took place in 1961, 1st of October. But Ambazonians, listen. Before then, we had had an elected government in 1954 that had a wonderful democratic rule that even caused one of the great African leaders, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to visit the Ambazonia, which was the former British Southern Cameroons. And I am hearing stories, I have not verified, that because Kwame Nkrumah was pro-communist, all these European countries were threatened that if they allow the British Southern Cameroons to team up with Kwame Nkrumah, their exploitation and their gains, and they are using the people of the British Southern Cameroon like rag, was going to be discovered and was going to be abated. And so they decided to put us in a fix by trying to join us with a crooked nation like France. Now, this went together with the plan of This woman who just died in London, I don't want to call her name, but I'm told that, in fact, even I saw a video, people protesting at his grave, at her grave. Yeah, human beings protesting at the grave of a person who is dead. That is to tell you that even Satan may not accept that individual. And if there was a place to hang in the air in between, that woman would have been in the space. Because even Satan knows that she carried out very terrible, wicked plans. Some of them Satan did not send her to do. She did it on her own volition. Let's get back to our history. And so we see that our plight came as a result of this blindness. I call it blindness because today, with this present generation, we have told la République du Cameroon, we have told France, and we are telling the whole world that we are number 55 African nation. Yes, number 55th African nation, not in chronology, but as we have accepted and taken back our land. So let it be known to the entire world that the 55th nation of Africa is not taking a no for an answer. We are calling on the United Nations to go back to their archives and peacefully, if at all they are peaceful, give us our seat in the United Nations. We are telling the African Union that has been a bulldog that cannot back. It's not an insult, it's a description so that you can wake up from your slumber and give us our seat as Ambazonians in that union, because it is our legal right. We are not to go through any lame dog kind of government and banana republic that try to usurp us and assimilate us, take our powers and begin to act on our behalf while we have not given them the powers. No, we will not accept, and we are not going that route. So we are telling the Republic of Cameroon to get out of our land, either peacefully as we had intended, or by whatever means that you will involve us into. We are ready and we are capable. We are no more cockroaches and dogs like Okala, who the criminal usurper and the so-called colonial governor who is sitting in our country without a resident permit, carrying out illegal atrocities, depriving our people of their freedom, natural freedom given to them by God. We are telling them to get out of that land or they will get out. The unfortunate thing is that they are using our elites to die before their time. Like a Kema Patrick who got up and said he was the King Kong. Today, he has been forgotten. And I'm telling that small rat, I called him a rat because in Ambazonia, we respect people. But when you prove who you are, we call you by your name. That's why John the Baptist came out and said, "You brood vipers, who has told you, who has warned you from the danger that is coming, that should run and come to baptism?" It was not an insult, he was describing them. So I'm talking to that rat who calls himself Moja Moja and is making noise on social media. May I announce to you that your days are numbered, because you cannot stand and point a finger into the apple of God's eye and you think that you will go free. If you have ears and you can still think and reason, better desist from what you are doing, because very soon you'll be forgotten as your uncle Kema. Let's get back to our history. While we are talking history, I'm telling you, we have current events that are going on, and these current events are accumulating to making the history that we are talking about. And as it pleases him who gave us Ambazonia, we, the Ambazonian people, we are out and we must take our land. Now, those of you in home front who have been deceived and being deceived by so many speeches, I'm giving you the brief of our history so that you can understand where we are coming from. And when you understand where we are coming from, you can stand ready to defend your land. We are coming from a blessed land, a land that has been blessed materially, financially, spiritually, intellectually. Wonderful, honest people. Some of them, they have tried to corrupt them. And even in the corruption, they are finding it difficult to live the life of savage and wicked people like is happening in La Republic of Cameroon. I told you, this young man, Mbolo, tried to go play as in their national team. They asked the father to bring money that the father did not have. So he went over and naturalized in Swiss and took a Swiss nationality. And of course, the people who are giving him bread, he has to support them. And when he scored the goal yesterday, I'm telling you, I saw it in a picture, in a video, not picture, a video, where the same people from his own village, the people who are fighting Ambazonians in their hometown, if they can get up to fight their own people, then I agree that when a pig is hungry, it turns around to eat its own kids. And that's what La Republic is doing. The wickedness that we think that they are only demonstrating on us, they are demonstrating also on their own. That's to tell the Ambazonians who are fighting for federalism, fighting for oneness, for unity, and so on, of which La Republic has never and will never agree, that it is not possible. I will not go without talking the current events that are happening right now. Resolution 1608 made us a country. And there is no unity, or rather, there is no article in the archives of the United Nations saying that we united with La Republique and we are one country. So if there is no article like that, how will somebody in his right senses get up to talk about a referendum for an independent country to ascertain whether they want to stay with another independent, in parentheses, called independent country? Is this normalcy? Can you agree with me that the individual in Ambazonia or the individuals in Ambazonia who sat down and brought up this proposal are either insane, hypnotized, or they don't know what is called a referendum? Because a united country that has its independence with its flag, its people, its national anthem, their territory, restored the rulership that was in 1954, then a human being, if that person is not a wizard or a witch that works in the daytime, how can you come up and tell the Ambazonian people to go stand for a yes or a we? to know whether, to see whether we can leave our independent country to go join another purported led country by France in Africa called independent country. That's crazy, like the American person will say. That's madness. That's insanity. And some of the people that I usually say permanent head damage people with PhDs, and you think I'm insulting them, this is the action. This is the result. If somebody's head is not permanently damaged, how can you see in the archives of the custodians of the nations of the world telling you your position, and then you are going to sit down with non-entities? I'm not insulting them, but that's what they are. To begin to think of how to decide whether to go. Oh my God. Hey, Ambazonians, I know you have the knife and the cake. I'm talking to the Ambazonians who are spiritual, because this battle is more than just physical. There's something going on, cooking in the spiritual. That pot can be broken by the blood of Jesus. To those who call the name of Jesus in truth and in sincerity, I implore you to get that name and destroy all the dirty pots of La Republique that are cooking against Ambazonia in the name of Jesus. I raise my cup so that the Ambazonian people will know that they are a different nation, a peculiar people, a chosen generation. That is who you are. If you do not know your history, that is your history. If you have not read it in a written form, I want to tell you verbally, the generosity, kindness, honesty, frankness, sincerity of the Amba person can be seen in the mixed multitude that is disturbing us now in Ambazonia called the Bamileke people. We opened our doors for them, gave them coverage, covered them when they were cold, gave them food, and today they have turned out to be the camel that drove out its master from the tent. But Ambazonians, we have not raised up any war against these people. And some people are saying we are naive. We are not naive. We know what we are doing. Somebody sang a song. I don't know whether this person was an Ambazonian, but he said, "Car we no get tail, now God the drive and fly." But in any case, he was just saying that when you rely on God, God will drive your flies. We don't have ammunition, but we have a powerful intercontinental ballistic missiles that La Republic cannot comprehend. And that those missiles are coming from no other person but God. I want to tell La Republic that God is raising and has raised boys and girls who have not been to school. God has given them talents, and you cannot withstand. We've told you in your demonic government parliament that when they shall rise, all the armies of France put together will not be able to prevail. Ambazonians, I want to tell you that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you are divided." No, sir, you are wrong. We are not divided. There are some people who are fighting for their belly, and by so doing, they have one solution. And what is that solution? To try to compromise our resolve. And in the course of compromising this resolve, they have made with a rock. Excuse me. They cannot proceed. You know why they cannot proceed? Because we have cried out and told our Father, Abba, Father, you know our name. We are Ambazonians. We have no strength of ours. Nobody has come to our aid. We rely on you. We depend on you. And guess what? God is giving us the help. Do you know why we are not yet in Ambazonia? Because there are still some Amalekites, some obstacles amongst us that God must weed them out and God must expose them so that we know the jiga, the caterpillars, not the pillars that are within us. We are told that the journey from Egypt to Israel on foot, it was too high, would have taken them too long, 40 days. But it took them 40 years. Why? So that all the people who had gathered the gods of the Egyptians and were going to build an abomination in Israel will not set their foot on that land. And so their children got into that land with a figment of what they saw and practiced and experienced in Egypt. God is cleansing the Ambazonian people so that those who are of God, doing a good job, like we had done in the past, when we did not even know our calling, that only us will enter that land, so that even our enemies will be at peace with us. Why? Because it is written, when a man's way pleases the Lord, even his enemies are at peace with him. That is who the Ambazonian person is. And so, fellow Ambazonians, I want to let you know that we are getting there. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. Don't be tantalized. Don't be dismayed. Let nobody deceive you. We are gone. The cry has reached up to heaven. The groaning is too much, and we are going. The interim government took over the government that was existing in Ambazonia before La Republic came in. And when that government was restored, we decided to go according to the rules of that government. And that is what we are executing. So all the other groups, they are coming very far. I want to let Ambazonians know that Foncha went to Fumban not as a group, not like his party. They went there, Endele followed him. They went there as a government. They went there as a government. And La Republic must discuss with us as a government. Tibonage, whatever you call yourself, you can say anything you want to say. We know you are two-side cutlass. Ambazonians understand that. But we congratulate you for your two-side cutlassness, because our God knows you and knows your heart. And to our cousins, uncles, brothers, and sisters who are elites of Ambazonia, and to our slave boys who are Ambazonians working slavery in the Republic of Cameroon, I'm here as an Ambazonian and as a historian, as a seer, as a child of God, to tell all of you that secretly in your hearts, you want homeland to be free, but you are entangled. We have blamed you, shouted on you, cursed you out, called you all names, but it is very clear that you are helpless. You cannot help yourself. Right here in our Amba history, I am calling on those who have a helping hand to help these our elites and our slave boys to go ahead and do the job. It's not a magic, it's a miracle. It will happen. Spiritual cabinet, please get ready. Fire quenchers or fire brigade, please come in. Yes, I'm calling all these names and they belong to one person. And that is the spiritual cabinet. We rely on you now. Satan has failed them. Our God has never failed. So I rely on you to bring these people out of the bondage in which they find themselves. I want to thank all of you, Ambazonian people, for being with me today and appointment on Monday. For today, I want to call it quit so that Ambazonian people meditate on this, share it, and cause everyone to hear what is going on. Long live the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Short live this genocidal war. God bless the people of Ambazonia. Don't go away. Stay tuned to the rest of our programs on ABC. Very soon, the powerful voice of the woman, the Ambazonian woman, will be on stage. Don't miss it. It has a lot of things to show and to talk to you. And to those of you who are found in different forums that are feeding you with information that you cannot coordinate, remember in the ABC TV, we don't make propaganda. We tell you what you can verify. And so listen to the Amba woman as she comes up immediately after this. Brother, I give you 2 minutes to tell us your story. I will call it quit for today. God bless you.
To tell the world, I have a story to tell the world. I was long forgotten in sin. Tradition took me, the world swallowed me. I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. This is my story, please listen carefully. One day I met a lady. She told me that Jesus died for me. He shed his blood and he